My mother-in-law changed my baby's name while I was unconscious. The nurse's next words. Where's Lily? I whispered, still groggy from the C-section, my hand instinctively reaching for my stomach where my daughter had been just hours ago. You mean Margaret, the nurse replied, checking her clipboard. My blood ran cold, ice flooding through my veins despite the warm hospital blanket. But then she leaned in, her voice dropping to barely a whisper. Your husband's been arrested. We have the security footage. Margaret is safe in the nursery, but we need to talk. The room spun. I tried to sit up, but the incisions screamed in protest. Arrested? What footage? Her name is Lily. Lily Rose Carter. The nurse, her badge read Patricia, gently pressed me back down. Please, Mrs. Carter, don't strain yourself. I'm going to get Dr. Morrison and hospital security. Your baby is safe, I promise. But something happened while you were unconscious that you need to know about. 24 hours earlier, I'd been laboring for 16 hours. The baby was breech, my blood pressure skyrocketing, and Dr. Morrison had made the call, emergency C-section. The last thing I remembered was my husband Kevin holding my hand, his mother Gloria hovering behind him, and the anesthesia mask covering my face. Kevin and I had been married for 3 years. We'd met at a bookstore, him reaching for the same cookbook I wanted, both of us laughing at the coincidence. He was charming, attentive, everything I'd dreamed of. His mother Gloria, however, was a different story. From day one, she'd made it clear I wasn't good enough for her only son. I was too young at 26, my job as a graphic designer wasn't prestigious enough, my family wasn't wealthy enough. When we announced the pregnancy, Gloria's first words were, I hope it's a boy to carry on the family name. When we found out it was a girl, she sulked for weeks. When we told her the name, Lily Rose, after my grandmother who'd raised me, she'd scoffed. Margaret is a proper name. A strong name. Like my mother. That's nice, I'd said politely, but we've chosen Lily. She'd been cold ever since, barely speaking at the baby shower, criticizing every nursery decision, insisting that when her grandchild arrived, things would be done properly. Now, as Patricia returned with Dr. Morrison and a security guard, my heart pounded against my ribs. Dr. Morrison, a woman in her 50s with kind eyes, sat beside my bed. Sarah, she began gently, after your C-section, while you were in recovery, your husband and his mother went to fill out the birth certificate paperwork. The nurse on duty gave them the forms, standard procedure when the mother is still unconscious. But something felt off to her. The security guard, Officer Thompson, pulled out a tablet. Your husband seemed nervous, kept looking at his mother. She was filling out most of the forms while he signed. The nurse tried to verify the baby's name with him, but his mother answered instead, saying Margaret Gloria Carter. My chest tightened. No, we agreed. Lily Rose. We had it written in my birth plan. The nurse remembered that, Dr. Morrison said. She'd seen your birth plan. So she stalled them, said she needed to check something, and called security. That's when we reviewed the footage from the hallway. Officer Thompson turned the tablet toward me. The security footage was grainy but clear enough. There was Gloria, pressing something into Kevin's hand, what looked like cash. A thick envelope. Kevin shook his head, but Gloria grabbed his arm, her mouth moving rapidly. Even without sound, I could see she was upset, insistent. Then Kevin took the envelope, nodded, and they walked into the administrative office. There's more, Officer Thompson said, swiping to another video. This is from 2 days ago. The footage showed the hospital's payment office. Gloria was there with a man I didn't recognize, well-dressed, official-looking. They were signing papers, Gloria sliding a check across the desk. She tried to bribe our administrative staff to expedite the birth certificate without your consent, Dr. Morrison explained. She offered $10,000 to have it processed immediately, before you woke up. She said you were mentally unstable and shouldn't be making decisions. My hands clenched the hospital sheets. Where's Kevin now? County jail, Officer Thompson said. He's been charged with fraud and attempting to falsify legal documents. Your mother-in-law was arrested too, but she posted bail an hour ago. The room felt too small, too hot. My daughter, my Lily, had almost been stolen from me in the most fundamental way. Not physically taken, but her very identity rewritten while I lay unconscious. I need to see her, I said. My daughter. I need to see Lily. Patricia smiled softly. Of course. Let me bring her to you. Minutes later, she returned with a bassinet. Inside was my perfect daughter, sleeping peacefully, a pink hat on her tiny head. The bracelet on her ankle read baby girl Carter. They hadn't been able to officially change it without my consent. As I held her for the first time since the surgery, really held her, tears streamed down my face. "Hi, Lily," I whispered. "I'm your mama. I'm so sorry this happened." Patricia handed me tissues. "There's something else you should know. We found these in your husband's pocket when he was arrested." She produced a Ziploc bag containing several documents. Divorce papers, already partially filled out, with Gloria's lawyer's letterhead. A custody agreement giving Gloria primary guardianship. An apartment lease in Kevin's name alone, dated a month ago. They were planning this, I breathed. They were going to take her. Dr. Morrison nodded gravely. "It appears so. The name change was just the beginning. With you potentially vulnerable after major surgery, if something had happened to you." She didn't need to finish. "If I'd had complications, if I'd died, Margaret Gloria Carter would have been raised by Gloria, with Kevin as a compliant father, erasing me entirely." My phone buzzed on the bedside table. Gloria's name flashed on the screen. Against my better judgment, I answered. "You ungrateful little witch," she hissed. "How dare you have my son arrested? He's the father of that child. He has rights." "Her name is Lily," I said firmly. "That trashy name. Over my dead body. I've raised one child successfully. You clearly can't even handle a simple birth without dramatics. When I get custody." "You won't get custody," I interrupted. "You're going to be in prison for attempted fraud, bribery, and conspiracy." She laughed, sharp and cruel. "I have the best lawyers money can buy. And Kevin will support me. He always has. He knows who really takes care of him." "Is that why you paid him?" I asked. $10,000 to betray his wife and daughter. Silence. "Then, he told you about that?" "No, Gloria. The security cameras did. Every hallway, every room, every bribe. It's all on video." The line went dead. 2 days later, my sister Emma arrived from Colorado. She found me in the hospital room, Lily sleeping in my arms, divorce papers spread across the rolling table. "I came as soon as I could get a flight," she said, wrapping me in a careful hug. "Mom and Dad are driving up tomorrow." I'd been alone when I married Kevin, my parents disapproving of the rushed wedding, my sister warning me about Gloria's possessiveness. I'd been so sure I knew better, that love would be enough. "I should have listened to you," I said. Emma shook her head. "No, you should have been able to trust your husband. This isn't your fault." A knock at the door interrupted us. A woman in a sharp suit entered, my newly hired attorney, Ms. Davidson. "Good news," she said. "The district attorney wants to pursue this aggressively. Fraud involving a newborn, attempting to change legal documents without maternal consent, plus the conspiracy charges. Your husband is looking at significant jail time if convicted." "What about Gloria?" "She's claiming Kevin acted alone, that she was just a concerned grandmother. But the video evidence is damning. Plus," she smiled, "we found something interesting. This isn't the first time she's done this." My blood chilled. "What?" "Kevin's father. Turns out his name wasn't originally Kevin Michael Carter Jr., it was supposed to be James, after the paternal grandfather. But Gloria changed it while Kevin Sr. was deployed overseas and the original Mrs. Carter was recovering from complications. She's been controlling that family for 30 years. The pieces clicked into place. Kevin's father's sudden divorce when Kevin was 10. His absence from Kevin's life. Gloria's constant presence, her control over every decision. "She drove his father away," I said. "And tried to do the same to you, but you survived the surgery. You woke up too soon for their plan to work." That evening, as Emma helped me walk the hospital corridors to build strength, we passed the nursery. Through the window, I saw another young mother crying, holding her baby. Patricia was with her, comforting her. "What happened?" I asked when Patricia emerged. "Another mother-in-law issue," she said quietly. "Tried to circumcise the baby boy against the parents' wishes while Mom was sleeping. We catch more than you'd think." It was a strange comfort knowing I wasn't alone, that other women had faced similar betrayals in their most vulnerable moments. The next day, my parents arrived. My mother, who'd been cold about the wedding, took one look at Lily and melted. "She looks just like you did," she whispered, tears in her eyes. "I'm sorry I wasn't supportive before. I should have been here." My father, ever practical, had already called his lawyer friend. "We're going to make sure that woman never comes near you or Lily again," he promised. On day 4, Kevin called from jail. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. "Sarah," he said, his voice broken. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." She said if I didn't do it, she'd cut me off completely. The money, the house, everything. It's all in her name. "So you sold your daughter for money?" "I was scared," he whispered. "You don't understand what she's like. My whole life, she's controlled everything. Every relationship, every job, every decision." "I was your wife," I said. "You were supposed to protect us." "I know. God, I know. I destroyed everything." "Yes," I said simply. "You did. Can I at least know her name?" I looked at my daughter, peaceful in her bassinet. "Her name is Lily Rose Carter. But you'll have to earn the right to call her that." I hung up. The divorce was finalized in record time. Kevin, facing criminal charges, didn't contest it. He gave up parental rights in exchange for a plea deal that reduced his sentence. Gloria fought harder, hiring 3 different law firms, but the video evidence was insurmountable. She was convicted of fraud and conspiracy, receiving 2 years in prison and 3 years probation. The day I left the hospital, Patricia walked me to the door. "You know," she said, "in 20 years of nursing, I've seen a lot of family drama. But I've never seen someone handle it with as much grace as you have." I adjusted Lily in her carrier. I didn't have a choice. She needed me to be strong. "You had choices," Patricia said. "You could have crumbled. You could have let them win. Instead, you stood up for your daughter from your hospital bed. That takes courage." 6 months later, I stood in my new apartment, small but safe, decorated with Lily's photos and artwork from my job. Emma was visiting, helping me pack for a move to Colorado to be closer to family. My phone rang. Unknown number. Usually, I didn't answer these, but something made me pick up. "Mrs. Carter, this is James Carter, Kevin's father." I nearly dropped the phone. "How did you get this number?" "Your lawyer. She thought we should talk." He paused. "I heard what Gloria did. What she tried to do to you and your daughter. I wanted to apologize." "You didn't do anything." "That's the point. I didn't do anything 30 years ago when she did it to my ex-wife. I didn't protect my son from her manipulation. I let her drive me away." His voice cracked. "I've been a coward for 3 decades. What do you want?" "Nothing. I just wanted you to know that you're braver than I ever was. And if you ever need anything, testimony about Gloria's pattern of behavior, financial help, anything, I'm here." After we hung up, I looked at Lily, now 6 months old, grabbing at her toes and babbling. She would never know the grandmother who tried to steal her identity, the father who betrayed her for money. But she would know strength, love, and the fierce protection of a mother who refused to let anyone rewrite her story. The birth certificate, when it finally arrived, read exactly as it should: Lily Rose Carter. Mother, Sarah Elizabeth Carter. Father, unknown. Because Kevin might have been her biological father, but he'd lost the right to that title the moment he tried to sell her identity for 30 pieces of silver from his mother's purse. Some betrayals can't be forgiven. Some bridges, once burned, light the way forward instead of back. And sometimes, the family you choose, the sisters who fly across the country, the parents who admit their mistakes, the nurses who stand guard over vulnerable mothers, is stronger than the family you're given. Lily would grow up knowing exactly who she was, her name a flower that bloomed despite the concrete others tried to pour over it. And I would make sure she never had to fight for her identity the way I'd fought for hers, unconscious on an operating table while wolves circled, thinking I was helpless prey. They were wrong. A mother's love doesn't sleep, even under anesthesia. It watches, it waits, and when threatened, it roars back to life with the force of every woman who ever had to defend her child from those who would claim them. My daughter's name is Lily Rose Carter. And that truth is written in more than ink. It's written in the security footage that saved us, the courage that sustained us, and the love that no grandmother's money could ever buy.